Hello, and welcome to this episode of Community Voices Uganda here on Civic Space TV. My name is Philip Mulisa. On this episode, we turn the spotlight on the National Unity Platform, and you and I may know that that is the leading opposition party in Uganda. And we want to have a conversation around the party card politics. There's been a lot of conversation everywhere about the cards for the party and how they were given out and who was given the card and who was not given, and more importantly, what that means, first of all, for the party, but two, for the political season that is underway, and indeed looking at how that benefits or kills the momentum or even the democratic system we seek to run as a country. Now, joining me in that conversation is a panel of distinguished citizens of this country, Uganda, who are certainly very well versed with the developments that are happening, not just at the NUP, but also the country at large. And certainly they will help us make sense of all this that we want to make. And before we get into the depth of that conversation, I'll surely invite them to first say hello to you, our viewers, and later on we get into the depth of the conversation. And as practice is here on Community Voices Uganda, we talk to our viewers and share with them where we are and one specific thing we would want them to know about our particular location. I'll start with you, Sam Baluku. Sam, greetings. Welcome to this conversation. And how is where you are?
Thank you so much to our dear viewers. My name is Sam Baluku. I'm a lawyer by profession and a student of journalism and communication. I'm currently in Fort Portal, and maybe a former flag bearer of the National Unity Platform on the position for Member of Parliament representing the people of Kasese Municipality. Glad to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Yes, Sam, thank you for joining us, and we surely can't wait to hear what you have to share with us on the conversation. And maybe you've cheated us, you've not told us what is unique about your location this morning, but we shall continue the conversation. Maybe we'll share a little later. Let me speak to Emily Namalwa. Emily, greetings, you welcome to the conversation, and how is where you are?
Thank you, Philip. Good morning, and to all my fellow panelists. I'm Namalwa Emily from Mbale City, the current Deputy Mayor for Industrial State Division and the NRM flag bearer for Female Workers Council Mbale City in the coming elections. A proud farmer and content creator. What is special about Mbale City this morning is that it is both cloudy. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm looking forward to having.
Thank you, Emily, for joining us from Mbale City. Greetings to the people of Mbale, and certainly you enjoy that mix of the art of weather, and certainly you shall have a way of going through it for the rest of the day. Mr. Semanda Ibrawaswa, greetings and welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, everyone. Waswa Semanda Ibra. I'm a member of the National Unity Platform. Currently, I'm the incumbent councillor representing the people of Kasubi, Rubaga Division. And I'm also a youth leader, the NUP, in our constituency, that's Rubaga North. Yeah, I'm a journalist by profession. I'm a law student.
Thank you so much, Mr. Waswa Ibra Semanda, for joining us, and greetings to the people of Kasubi, the people you represent, and certainly we shall enjoy listening from you as a leader from the National Unity Platform. And of course, Mr. Ankunda Best Arnold, greetings to you, and how is where you are?
Yeah, a very good morning once again. I'm Ankunda Best Arnold. My roots are from Bishop Stuart University, and I'm the former guild president of Bishop Stuart University. Currently, I'm in Mbarara City. It is where I am currently, and right now, and more so the People's Front for Freedom, that is PFF flag bearer of Isingiro North constituency MPship, and Dr. Chiza Vesj's Vanguard. So I'm here to learn, relearn, and unlearn. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Arnold, for joining us, and wish you greetings to the people of Isingiro North and the people of Mbarara, where you are, and we shall be glad to listen from you. And last but not least, Madam President of the Uganda Young Democrats, greetings and welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Philip, and thank you, colleagues. Greetings to you, friends. My name is Sayuni Helen, as you've been told, and I'm from the Democratic Party, the original political party of this country, which has birthed most of the political parties that you all belong to here. And I am the president of the Uganda Young Democrats. I'm glad to be here. My dissatisfaction is that Sam was denied the ticket for Kasese municipality. It's not a good thing. I'm not feeling good about it at all. Is somebody who has been on ground and proudly, moving the NUP flag. My annoyance this morning has a bit increased, but I'm glad to be here, and let us enjoy the conversation.
Thank you, and I can see Sam here sending in a quick comment that God is never wrong to you, his sister, but please calm down, then the annoyance will be settled as things get to move. Thank you so much, colleagues, for joining us, and as we kickstart the conversation, perhaps I first listen to a person from the house, and that is Mr. Semanda Ibra Waswa. Ibra, a lot has been said about the processes of the National Unity Platform, but more specifically the one of giving out party cards. What should ideally be the party primary where, and from the levels of councillor where you have served so vividly for the last 5 years to the levels of chairpersons of districts and now members of parliament, and of course the presidency. But there's been a lot of contention on the MP card, and we know that until now we have many disgruntled members of the party. Some of them have chosen to leave the party. Others say they are still members of the party, but they are going to continue in the election and run as independents, and many other sentiments that keep coming out of that process. But as briefly as possible, what you, as a member of the party and one that is so close to the leadership, what was your assessment of this party granting process? Was it a fair process? Do the people that are disgruntled have a point? Do the people that are celebrating actually justly celebrating their win, or we have some invisible activities that were down there that we as citizens of Uganda should not be celebrating at the moment? Yes.
Thank you so much, Philip. And I want to recognize other colleagues on this platform, and I want to appreciate for this opportunity to be on this space. First of all, I participated in the process. This is my second time. The vetting process, the brand assessment process, and I'm lucky that in the recent process of vetting councillors in the capital city, I got an opportunity to be the flag bearer of Kasubi D. Well, I can give an example. We received as NUP, according to the reports from the Electoral Management Committee, we received applicants, over 2,500 applications from different positions. Yet, the constitution of our country, Kampala leadership only, needs, when you consider the division mayors, the Lord councillors, the 3 councillors, and the Lord Mayor, we have only 250 seats. So you can see how people, the numbers have increased in applying for party tickets. But unfortunately, we only have one slot for each electoral area. So we can see, because the National Unity Platform, it's a popular party, it's a mass party. Many Ugandans, they opted to participate into the politics and leadership of the National Unity Platform. So our party cards were so competitive at all different levels. I can understand, I can feel what other colleagues go through when they denied, when they didn't get an opportunity to get the party tickets, my brother. But what I can assure you, the leadership of the National Unity Platform tried so hard to create a fair ground. The leadership of the NUP constituted the Electoral Management Committee. That committee was conducting vetting process. And there is also another part of ground survey. So the first part of the vetting committee takes 40%. Determines the way, how you can answer the questions, how do you know the party, the knowledge about the position you are applying for. Two, there is a ground assessment, because for us, we are a people power movement. We believe and we listen the voices of the people. So there is that part of ground, whereby ground contributes 60%. So after those two processes, vetting process and the ground assessment process, then you get the marks. Then fortunately we get one candidate. So my brother, we listen to those voices outside there saying that the process was unfair, but I can assure you, as a participant, because me personally, I participated in the process, I got the flag, and many of our colleagues, most of the incumbents, failed to get the party ticket. So the process was
Yes,
fair,
and you
and we
see,
are very
also
sure
if you
that
allow me to come in
the
at that
best
point.
candidate got the opportunity. Yes, brother.
Yes, yes. If you allow me just briefly to proceed with that, you talk about the questions, but also the ground survey, and the main question that has come out of that is, what was actually being done at the ground? Did you have some sort of surveys going around asking people which candidate they want? Did you just go to the constituents and look around and say, I think this person best suits this position? What exactly was happening on the ground and that created the 60 marks?
On the issue of ground, because I told you that when we aspire to be into those leadership positions, we must have the will of the people. We must be grounded with the people's support. So what was NUP doing together with the Electoral Management Committee was to send teams on ground to assess. We have a list of 5 candidates. Whom do you think can be a good representative in your issues and so on? So we had more than 3 ground assessment activities, whereby they can send one team, another different team, another team, and another team to bring that report, which we thought it was fair, because initially as NUP, our direction was to have a structured vote, because even the amendments of our constitution, there are many clauses giving that opportunity to go on ground, to call upon all party members to come and vote flag bearers. But deliberately, the EC failed to gazette our constitution. So we resorted to go back into the vetting process in that already constitution. So the ground survey which was conducted, to me, it was fair. It gave us an opportunity to see the number of many people who is suitable to represent the people of different constituencies and electoral areas. So we don't own, and we cannot deny people to talk about what was happened through this vetting process and how party cards was distributed. But I can assure you, NUP is now a hot cake in this country. Everyone wants to stand on its ticket. So we only have one ticket on
All right.
each electoral area.
NUP is hot cake in the country. Thank you so much, Mr. Semanda, for that. And you try to give us what the process looked like. But I want to hear from you, Sam. Look, and you're a member of the National Unity Platform, and even the previous election you were standing. And I want to, again, on this question of the electoral committee from the National Unity Platform and the qualifiers, the bit of, they talk about the interview, the questioning and the ground. But on the side of the interview, what sort of questions were being asked to candidates where this 40% mark was generated from? But two, there has been many voices that speak to the fact that actually the party ticket was not given based on the questions and the ground, but it was based on your, first of all, loyalty to the leadership of the party. And you've had other people saying that, oh, you must have had the interest of a particular individual in the party. And others have actually said it was based on how much you are able to pay to the people that were in charge of giving out the tickets. I want to hear your response to that. But two, as a follow-up again to that, if the party has the capacity to go to every constituency to find out who is more popular in the constituency and get out the different, send out the different teams, like what was told us that people went to the communities to find out not once, but twice or thrice, why then did they not just conduct party primaries to have the flag bearer chosen directly by the people? Yes, Sam.
Thank you so much, my brother Phil. Allow me ride on the protocol already established by recognizing my fellow panelists. First and foremost, I'm a loyal member of the National Unity Platform. And once you subject yourself to an internal party process, it is always important that you bear with the outcome. I've seen my colleagues come out, say this and this was not fair, this did not happen as we expected. Of course, we knew that as candidates, we were at the mercy of the Elections Management Committee. So ideally, whoever comes out to complain that they were not treated fairly, I think they're not doing justice to themselves, because ideally, once you participate, once you subject yourself to a process, it means you're in position to bear with whatever outcomes that come out. Now, I'll also try to correct my brother Semanda or guide him on something small, that the party constitution was gazetted by the Electoral Commission. However, after it being gazetted, there was a case in court by the former NUP, the founders of the NUP that transited into NUP. They went to court challenging a few things here and there, and therefore there was no way we would rely on a constitution that is being contested in court for over a few legalities of the memorandum of understanding and a few other basics. So when it comes to the questions that were being asked, personally, I was part of the process. They were asking you about the NUP ideology, the party core values, how prepared you are as an individual to finance your election. Of course, we're also looking at your financial muscle. They were also looking at how best you've mobilized for the party in the last 4 years, asking about the composition of the party leadership structure, and amongst other things. These were basic questions, and we are told that the Elections Management Committee results only contributed 40%, and then 60% was coming from the ground. the most unfortunate part of our elections management committee is that they subject us to a vetting process, but it is unfortunate that we do not get to know the results. For example, in 2021, I stood and I was given a card. I've been a senior member of the party. You cannot say that I did not have the ground because my opponent joined last year at the start of 2024. So me, who was part of the People Power movement, mobilized for the party, made sure the party gets candidates across my district. I've been on ground for the last 4 years. And then you say someone who came yesterday has the ground. Of course, the discretion is under the committee.
Yes, and when you say that, and again, if I take you back to your very initial point when you said that once you subject yourself to a process of the party, then you are bound by the results of that process. And yes, the process dictated that no one will provide the results. You just go by who is declared. Are you not contradicting yourselves?
No, possibly I would say that was an oversight. I didn't know that the results would not be declared. But ideally, what I'm trying to show you, when it comes to the 60%, the groundwork, I, for one, have not gotten any person calling me or telling me that, look, there are some people I met and maybe they asked me about this and this. I've not had anyone from my constituency or to tell me that there was a team that possibly phoned us at a certain trading center. They phoned me at a place of work and they asked me about the candidates in question. Then the other thing is that we came to realize that during the issuance of the party cards, we were consulting the local leadership, the district leadership, and probably our party registrars. So ideally, you realize that if you're more than one candidate, it is so easy that one candidate can negotiate his way out with the leadership at the local level. Because now you realize that once they consult, maybe the leadership could be biased from what is on ground. So ideally, I think next time, now that this has happened, of course, we are looking at the repercussions whereby people are contesting these results in some areas. For example, when you go to Kasese, where I come from, people are saying, no, the person that they've given the card is not known to us. Is not known to us. This is someone who has spent close to 1 year and he has not done anything significant in the constituency. So I think next time we should, the party should allow the residents of a certain electoral area to conduct, or party members of a certain area to conduct their party primaries. Because at the end of that day, you never know that the process can be manipulated or even have some committee members compromised because it is a dark process. However, like I was saying,
yes, and to conclude on that point,
the National Unity Platform, the National Unity Platform is also constrained in one way or the other, given the status quo, given the current circumstances, that you saw the NRM carry out their party primaries and there was no interruption of any kind. But they would not give NUP the same atmosphere. So you realize that was the only alternative, given the previous constitution of the party, because it provides for the elections management committee that ideally vets the party flag bearers. So I possibly from my school of.
Thank you, Sam, for that. And we're going to speak more about that particular process and including the interruptions from the different powers that get to control some of what happens in those specific areas. But thank you so much for those submissions, and you give us a picture of what actually happened at the Electoral Management Committee, but too telling us where you think things did not go very well in that process. And I want to hear from you, Helen. Look, you've had the two people that have spoken so far were actually part of the processes, and whereas Waswa is overly happy about how the process was conducted, you can hear that some here has some, whereas he's also okay with the process, but he has areas where he's uncomfortable. And one of the things he mentions is that the people in Kasese are actually saying we shall not give you our vote because we do not know the person you've presented to us. First of all, as a leader in the Democratic Party, and you had your delegates conference recently, but also a series of electoral activities in the party. What does this mean for the National Unity Platform, but too broadly for the democratic system of this country, Uganda?
Thank you so much, Philip, and thank you for bringing me on board for this discussion. As a Democrat, I would say I'm very disappointed because the Democratic Party has a very big stake in the people power movement. You remember from the start, we are the ones that were funding the UID reunions that gave birth to the people power movement. So with a history of how it came to be then NUP, with even most of the members of NUP now being former members of DP, I think as DP we deserve to be the ones even discussing the most. The people power movement now has almost
Maybe
turned
you
into
did not train them well.
No, I'm coming, Philip. The people power movement has now turned itself into a committee movement. Because when you look at a series of the many activities that they've come doing, and if you ever want to get a correct and good response to a certain topic, get a person who has failed in that very field. You will get to understand it very better. If you want to learn business properly, get someone who has started like 2 or more businesses and they are failing. That person has better lessons on how to do business. Now, if you listen to my brother Sam, and I'm very sorry he's contradicting himself so much. I think part of the questions that the NUP were asking in their vetting committee was, were you a DP member? Then they remove you. Then they remove you. Because I think they needed to be thorough. Because up to now, some members do not know the clear guidelines that this committee followed. I can tell you, even the winners may not know why they got the ticket. They don't know. If you asked them, why do you think you were given a ticket? They cannot tell you the guidelines or the very key points that they passed. If you visit some of the constituencies, like Sam has said, some voters don't even know these candidates. And then you come and tell us that you went and did assessment on ground. Where was the ground? Why do we contradict ourselves? If it's a people power movement, why don't you take the powers that be to the people themselves to decide? And I'm saying this because for us in DP, whereas we do the vetting at neck level, when there are more than one candidate, we send them back to the people at the district to decide who their candidate should be. And for some to say that the government will interrupt, I don't know, or when did they ever interrupt their process of choosing candidates, if they have ever sent them back anyway? Because we've done all this time. I don't know the process that FDC also sends back candidates. The last time I was in Kasese, I think there was a primary election that involved Centenary, Honorable Centenary. I do not remember the opponent. FDC has done primaries, and I don't remember them being interrupted, because it depends on how you organize your election. We've done an primary election in Gulu before. I think even recently there was one in Omoro district, Omoro, yes, somewhere there. So I wonder why you would curtail members and want to choose for people. If it was not that you want to choose for people, then pin the guidelines there clearly. Say that we on the ground, these are the people we contact. This is what we look up. We look for, because for us, this side we look at votability. If are you a votable candidate? Are you a presentable candidate? Are you on the ground? What have you been doing for the people before? What is your leadership history and track record? And we also talk about the character of an individual. So for you, NUP, why can't you come out clearly and tell people that whereas we were doing vetting, this and this is what we were discussing. You cannot tell me that you considered the ground and you woke up and got a candidate who pinned the posters of Kampala, who was all over saying he's contesting for woman MP Kampala, and you send the very candidate to Machinde. What ground now, which ground did you consider if the person was contesting for the ticket of Kampala and you send them to Machinde? I think Machinde or Baga.
Right.
I normally confuse the two.
Makindye West. I think you are referring to the Honorable Zahara Luirika from
Yes, exactly.
Kampala District Woman Representative to Makindye West constituency.
Yes, that's very late. And I remember in January when I was doing some activity at Munyonyo, I used to see her posters around that very place. Then after a while, we saw them in Kampala. That means there is something that took place that they are not telling us. Somebody told her, you come to Kampala, you have the ticket. Because even when you see that, and I want to really respect Honorable Shami Madende, she put up a serious fight. I am telling you, that woman is a woman of politics. She put up a fight. If you look at the ticketing and the process and how they gave up the ticket, they gave the tickets. It is easier to tell who and why they were never given a ticket. It is plain. And I'm telling you, never give people a chance to tell who you are. Because if you look at the candidates, each candidate, they deny the ticket. Right from like Busoga, you can tell why Honorable Cheva Kuchika was never given a ticket once again. You can tell why Honorable Bamrules was never given a ticket. Come here, you can tell why Joseph Bagara was never given a ticket. You can tell why Honorable of this council was never given a ticket. Everyone, the reasons are plain. You can tell this one never had a good relationship with this one. You can tell why Dr. Roy Semboga was not given a ticket, irrespective of being a better candidate in the area and on ground. You can tell. So if it's a
So
people
Helen,
power
in other
movement.
words, when I listen to what you say, if you allow me, you are
Yes.
saying that the process was not clean at all, and certainly they should have done better in organizing, first of all, even if it was supposed to be the committee, but two, making sure there are clear outline guidelines to make sure whoever is subjecting themselves to this process knows what to expect and knows how they are going to be graded. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. If I'm doing a paper in biology, then I know biology is the study of human body. So why would you just tell me, come do vetting? Vetting is about ground. What is ground to you? Because probably, whereas some candidates were told 60% is about groundwork, the groundwork that these people consider is not what you know as groundwork. Where are the guidelines telling these candidates that groundwork is this and this and this and this?
All right.
Is groundwork, who are you consulting for groundwork? Those guidelines should have been clear. And I'm telling you, if they were clear, there would be nobody questioning this whole process. Otherwise, as far as I have seen this process, people, please, whoever is in NUP and came from DP, come back home. You are really not where you're meant to be. And I want to, if you allow me a minute, I don't remember
Yes.
if you've ever heard of any issues about ticketing in DP. Even when these members, and I'm telling you, the only political party that these people of ours can afford to be is in DP, because we've studied democracy, we know what it means. We've studied politics, we know what it means, and we've been here and we know what everything means. So let them all come back. They shouldn't be only murmuring around the streets and whatever. They know where they belong. Let them come back and we do things the way they are supposed to be done.
All right. Thank you so much, Helen, for that. And she expresses, but also calls back members of the team, former members of DP to come back home and get into the party where probably things will be better. I don't know. That is for hand the members to discuss. But Emily, I want to hear from you. And speaking to the voter of Mbale, first of all, what is the effect of this process on the campaign season that is already underway? And two, are the voters of Mbale City happy about all these processes, and are they going to cast their votes in respect of the particular candidates that were brought at the level of the National Unity Platform, but also even the other parties that are contesting in Mbale City? Yes, Emily.
Thank you, Phil, and all the members who have already given in their views. In the context of Mbale City, National Unity Platform, it is performance and giving the card. I think it is only those people of Northern State Division that are happy with their candidate, because he has been on the ground, he's the one who was there the other time. But when you come to the position of state mayor and industrial state division mayor, industrial state division member of parliament, it may not go well with them, because like the previous speakers have said, especially Madam Sayun, the one who said, how can you give a card to someone who has been contesting in another place, asking for a card of another place, then you place that person in a different area? Then what the first speaker also said about someone just joining NUP, then you give that person a card, leaving out the person who has been there. It happened, we saw a fracas during the giving of the cards of the state mayors. There was one young man who had been on the ground since, in fact, they were even calling him state mayor. Then along the way, we had the Haji Masa Musa who joined us along the way. And all of a sudden, he takes over the flag. So it may not really go well with that. And I will proudly say, on the issues of giving cards or flags, Madam Sain has said that she's proud as DP, but also as NRM. We are very proud because it gives the real voter the mandate to select the person they want from the start. So even if you see someone protesting that maybe they need to do for me this, why I'm coming back as an independent, but inside him or herself, she knows that I'm doing this just to naye. I didn't have support on the ground, which is not in these other parties. So from my assessment as Mbale City, we are sure that NRM is taking a huge percentage this time, right from the ground level. Then we have member here, panelist, who said that there are so many people who have yearned for NUP because it is a popular party. But for us who are on the ground, we have also understood that there was that wave of NUP in 2021 when it had just come, and the people went through, even when they did not know much about politics, They did not have the mobilization on the ground. They did not have the financial muscle, but because it was a wave. So it is the same thing that this time people ran to go to NUP thinking that it is going to be the same thing, knowing fully well that if you are coming to NRM, you have to be fully having a financial muscle, you must have mobilization on the ground, and you also must be having connections everywhere. So they ran there
So
knowing
Emily,
that.
if you
Yes.
allow me, what you are actually saying is that for example, what the NUP did and coming out with results that are going to be contentional, it is something that is going to help your party, the National Resistance Movement, to gain momentum and win much more than it could have won if they had done it in a better way.
Exactly. Maybe if they prepare more next election, but this time around, we are taking a higher percentage.
Thank you so much for that, Emily, and we'll get to hear more of that as we continue. And Best, you are back. I had lost you here, and I want to hear from you. First of all, what is the experience of the People's Front for Freedom? And I know you're a candidate in Isingiro North, but two, who is your contestant from the National Unity Platform in your constituency? And what does the ground say based on your assessment? Because I know now I've had Emily here talking about the ground in Mbale. What does the ground in Isingiro say about your candidature, but also the candidature of National Unity Platform and NRA? How are things unfolding out there? Yes, Arnold.
Yeah, a very good morning once again. I'm Makunda Best Arnold. As I earlier said, the People's Front for Freedom flag bearer is Isingiro North MPship. And I came into this bid for MPship after realizing that Isingiro North surely is more hungry for actions than words. And the message I'm carrying, of course, the ground is promising and everyone is appreciating my move, my message. And really, they no longer trust and have hopes in the NRM, the National Resistance Movement. One, because of the primary elections they have just got done with, because up to now they are still transgressing and asking themselves of what happened. We voted, but then the one we voted, people willingly, he was not the final person that was brought by the electoral commission of NRM. So you see the NRM, of course, has lost it already. And now back to me, they have hopes in me. And to the NUP, I have no transgress with the NUP decision on how it has conducted its primaries or how it has given out the cards. But then the people of Isingiro North, regarding the questions they're asking the candidate, it is like about the bottom line. It is like it is going to reduce the percentage, not only from Buganda, but also to everywhere in the country. Just because I think people are disgraced, people have lost hopes. But then to me, personally, it is not like that. Me, I stand in solidarity with what it did with the principles of NUP, because it is the same system that we used as the People's Front for Freedom. Right now, like I told you, I'm the People's Front for Freedom flag bearer. It is the same system, only that it has hit up from the NUP, but then it is the same system. Why? Why am I in solidarity with it? It gives an effort to engage the masses and challenge the status quo. We saw the NRM or the National Resistance Movement participating in voting, and very many people are saying that voting is powerful. But me, I see, yes, it is powerful. Even this one that we are using as the People's Front for Freedom and the NUP, it is also a powerful tool. But what matters most to me, it is accountability. How have we done
So
it?
Arnold, briefly, well, and you say the NRM system is also very powerful, but I'm asking, what you are saying is that the committee vetting process is more powerful and better than the open primary elections like the NRM has conducted in the recent past. Is that what you're saying?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is what I'm saying, because if you can see the vetting of NUP or the People's Front for Freedom or PFF, it is all about who is going to carry the flag of change that we are fronting, or of
Arnold, what was
yes.
based on by the People's Front for Freedom to determine that you are the best and most popular candidate in Isinyiro North?
One, it is how you have been fronting your ideas, how you have been fronting your leadership. Like I told you, I'm a former guild president of Bishop's Church University. I carried the flag of FDC, which transited to People's Front for Freedom, though it is still on as FDC, but then People's Front for Freedom, it is a katase, or it was gotten from FDC.
Yes, but we want to hear what
Yes.
was based on to select you as the candidate.
One, it is the values that I carried when I was in the party. That is one. Secondly, my leadership skills, how I led the people of Bishop's Church University, the young people and the old people. You know, a university, it is a transgress, or it is a united combination of old and young, and how I carried their flag for all those years. That's what they considered. Yes.
And maybe lastly to you, as I move back to Waswa here, do you think now that one of considering how you participated at Bishop Stewart University is much more fair than taking the vote to the people of Isinyiro North and everyone gets to choose that, oh, actually it is Mr. Ankunda Best Arnold that we need, as opposed to say if Philip Melissa was standing against you on the same post in the same party?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Like I told you that my roots are from Bishop's Church University leadership, guild presidency. I tell you, Isinyiro North is carrying the same problems that I found in Bishop's Church University. And me helping those students, me helping the leadership, carrying out all that we did at Bishop's Church University, it is the same that Isinyiro North people needs here. Because we see oppression that we saw in Bishop's Church University, and it is still in Isinyiro North. We see manipulation. That is what they are crying, and that's why they are crying for change. Thirdly, it is I talked about oppression, manipulation, and stagnation. Isinyiro North has not moved for almost 25 years under one rule. So it is the same leadership that carried Bishop's Church University, led by me, that surely Isinyiro North needs. That's why the people right now, they are
you
all...
going to win that election best?
I have hopes in winning, only that the system, you know, the system in Uganda, it is what reduces my hope.
All right, thank you so much, Best, for that, and we wish you the best of luck in Isinyiro North. And I want to come back here to Mr. Semanda. Mr. Semanda, you've had the reactions about specifically the Election Management Committee of the National Unity Platform and whatever the process was, but there is something at stake. You have a number of disgruntled people from the party, and earlier on you did say that, yeah, it is understandable because when you lose out on a specific position, which should only have one winner, then you are perhaps not happy. But what is at stake is that the National Unity Platform that is running a protest vote runs the risk of actually getting a protest to a protest vote. And I think you had what, for example, some here told us earlier that the people of Kasese, because they are not happy about the candidate that was brought to them, they are likely not going to vote for the National Unity Platform. That is a protest against the protest vote. How is the party going to handle that?
Thank you so much, Philip, and I want to appreciate everyone's submission on this forum too. I wanted to correct my sister. Sayun about what she's talked about as in some of the questions which were asked the members in the EMC, that were you a former member of DP? That's not right, and I think it's a blackmail to our party. Two, we have an engagement going on to those people who are not able to get the party tickets. But as I told you, my brother, we only have one ticket as NUP. We cannot give what we don't have. We only give what we have as NUP. We know what other members are going through, but we have a process, as I told you, to bring all those people on board, to back the party candidate in the going election. There's also another issue where those people, most especially the incumbents, the same process was fair to them in the last general election, that's 2021. But now, if when they didn't get the party tickets, that's when they say that the process was unfair. So we must put into our mind that we are in a revolution. Our main goal is to unseat the 4-decade regime. So all the members must be aware and must know that we have a revolution and we are aiming to have a new Uganda, whereby those people are also good. They can be deployed in many capacities and responsible positions. So to me, I participated in that process. They tried so hard to say that they create fairness into the party internal processes. And another issue which I wanted to respond to about my sister from DP Zion, whereby members were vetted into different positions and were given cards on another positions. That also is not right. Every member applied for a specific position. For example, she talked about Zahara. When we are receiving those applications, this report was given by a member of the EMC about how Honorable Zahara was vetted on the position of Machinga West. Fortunately, she got a ticket. So we know how other sister parties can talk about NUP, because I told you that NUP is out party, and I'm very sure that we are in the struggle, we are in the campaign trail. We know we want a new Uganda now. So my brother Philip, I wish to come back again on this platform when you have a good system which can create opportunities to many people, because people now is thinking and seeing party tickets as a meal card for them. Yet for us, we think that when you're given a party card, it's a platform. It will be a position for you to command in your constituency into the protest vote campaign, my brother. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Samantha, for that. And the response, I'm sure Helen received it. I saw her smiling here. So I hope she's convinced now and she has the right position of the NUP. Sam, I want to hear from you once more. And yes, these challenges exist. And earlier on, you did give a few recommendations for how things can be improved in the future. Still, but by way of looking how we can improve this process now, how can the NUP galvanize on, yes, already the existing successes, but also consolidating its support and power, and like Samanda here keeps saying, the hot cake. How do they leverage that to make sure they pull back this membership that seems to be getting lost, so that it doesn't affect them in the elections that are already, the process is underway?
Thank you so much, my brother Phil. The only hope we have is that the leadership of this country is going to change come 2026. The circumstances that we all underwent will be no more, because we're going to be in a new democracy, in a new Uganda, and in a new system. So I believe come next time, come 2031, everything will be fine. Then the other thing, I think we should also, the party should have some rehabilitation, should do some rehabilitation for the candidates that lost the flags. Of course, you know, people have invested in their money, people have been traversing constituencies, going here and there, printing posters, banners, doing this and that. So at times when you lose a party flag or when you lose a voting press, at times it comes with a lot of trauma. It comes with a lot of depression. So I think most of our colleagues, and I myself, I think at some point we are going through a lot. And as an individual, you know, as a candidate, I could be okay with the outcome, but then remember you have a task force. You have you have a team that you've been working with. At times they'll give you calls crying. Those will tell you, Sam, you're not you're coming, you must come as an independent. We must challenge the status quo. People will always come with different opinions. So it goes back to the leader, it goes back to the candidate. It is you to control the whole environment. Because you see my brother Segona is going here and there to different media houses. Of course, he's also aggrieved as an individual. But it goes back to your personal values as a candidate. Like I earlier told you that once you subject yourself to a process, well knowing the dynamics of that process is always important, that you become lenient enough to really abide with whatever outcome. However, we can also come up with a number of recommendations to our party if given chance. We can come up with a number of recommendations so that this kind of environment does not happen the other time. Because now you're going to realize, for example, in the Uganda region, that most people want to come as independents. Now, if you have a NUP flag bearer, then you have a NUP independent leaning candidate, then you have PFF, then you have an FDC candidate against NRM. You realize that NRM remains solid, and then you have many opposition candidates, you know, on the same position, and you realize that we are going to divide our votes. So ideally, I would request my party that they come up with a rehabilitation process. They see how best they can sit with the people who lost, not to come as independents, give them hope, and also tell them that, look, the process was a fair one. I'll also give them hope that maybe when we went to the ground, this is where it did not go right. But maybe when we consulted your leaders at the district or at the constituency, this and this is what happened. Maybe try to improve next time, or try to work on a few things here and there. So ideally, like I said, it is prudent, or it is important that the voters who are on ground really come next time, vote for their candidate, for their best suitable candidate. Because like I told you, all human beings, you never know, this process can be manipulated or what, you never know. Anything can happen.
All right. Thank you so much, Sam, for that. And you give some recommendations to the party. And I know the party leaders here, but also those that follow our conversations, also they will get to listen to what you have to recommend. And Madam Sayuni, if I can hear from you. First of all, I know you had the response from Semanda here, but two, maybe we should normalize saying that this is how our country runs, because many of the things that we are, or people are choosing the National Unity Platform of, are things that happen in almost every other party. And if you talk about, for example, candidates getting tickets based on their loyalty to the party president, for example, the same thing has been mentioned in the National Resistance Movement. If you talk about the influence of money, the same thing has been mentioned in the National Resistance Movement or the PFF or the Democratic Party. We saw when your party held the delegates conference, we saw people saying that the party president is using a lot of money to influence who becomes, who takes which office and who takes which card for whichever constituency. So perhaps this is how things should run, and we should normalize saying that this is who we are. Helen, what do you think?
No, we cannot normalize an abnormality. We cannot. Because these are the very things us, the opposition, should be fighting. And we cannot normalize doing them. We cannot. We cannot manage to even, especially us, the young people who are seeing them, we cannot even accept to just
So,
look at them happening and we keep quiet.
so
Even
what do
within
we
the
do then?
Democratic Party, by the way, there are things I can't keep quiet about because I have a longer future. I have many days to see ahead. All these things that we are keeping quiet and talking, and because you may think that something is favoring you now and then you keep quiet about it. Like I saw Honorable Nabagabe trying to defend the fact that Honorable Rugirika applied for Machinde West. And then there is a video of, I think, 2 weeks back, of Honorable Rugirika herself saying I was vetted for Kampala, and it's the position that I applied for. So who are you to say that you know what the candidate wants than herself? Honorable Waswa, for you, why do you think you know what Honorable Yirika wanted more than herself? We cannot turn ourselves into gods of sort. She is all over media saying, I applied for Kampala. I was vetted for Kampala. It's the position that I want. Then you are here, just like President Museveni and the NRM and how they always justify corruption and whatsoever, trying to convince us who went to school, joined the struggle, seeing that this is what we want to fight for and fight against, convincing us that she applied for Machinde. We cannot be the ones really justifying this. We cannot.
Mm.
The
All
thing
right.
should
And
be the thing should
mm,
be that amidst you maybe benefiting from the injustice, how are you feeling for the people that the injustice is pressing? Because I mean, that much in the West seat had people that had applied for it, people that had been on ground doing the work, people that had put their energies all through all the time. If you listen to, because we leaders actually are supposed to feel the pain of our followers. That is why a leader is an anointed person. And even the Bible talks about it. They are chosen people. We are also chosen in a way that you must feel the pain of others, even when you don't agree with them. I completely
mm.
do not agree with any other party, and that's why I'm in DP, because I don't believe in other parties. But that does not stop me
So
from feeling.
in other words, you say that, for example, in Makinde West, whereas if the party thought, because you had people like Alan Sewanyana who was in the same position, in the same
There is my
constituency, and he's
brother
the
Musi, who has
incumbent.
been arrested more than all the other NUP members that I know, actually. I think he
All
belongs
right.
to that constituency. So let
Mm,
us try always to be thorough. If it means making a mistake, it should be a justifiable mistake. A mistake that everybody can see that, this is a mistake. Not just, and this thing stems even from the councillor tickets. They are candidates that, if you listen to their stories of how they were vetted, of what took place in the vetting rooms and the exchanges of sorts of money and of it is really very, very unfortunate. We cannot be the very people trying to push and promote things that we must be fighting against. The NRM has been battling with monetization. You saw how their delegates conference went. But I can tell you, if you met some of the NRM people, they are very convinced that that's how it should be. And that is the people power that I'm talking about. I don't believe in NRM whatsoever. I saw how primaries were in my district. A day to voting, each voter received 10,000 shillings in my district for woman MP.
mm.
But voters are convinced that that's who they want to vote. And I think that for me, that is exactly what people power means. That even when you exploit people, you let them have a hand in the exploitation themselves. And then we can justify later that we exploited you with money. And then we go and, try to explain that and teach our people that, money is bad, that when you're given money, you don't receive the very services that you're meant to. This is money that comes from corruption. People have swindled and they bring it back to you to blindfold you. So for me, I think we should exactly not preach water and take wine. Let us take water with our people. Thank
All
you,
right, thank you
Philip.
so much. And maybe by way of summarizing your submission, there's I have a colleague who is, the person, but I will not put his name out here. He made a statement and said there is a special pain when the opposition lies to you and they continue to try to justify that lie. And that was in reference to, of course, the party cards and how they were changed. He was making a comment about, of course, Kawempe South and Makindye West and all the other constituencies, but that is for you and for all those people to make their comment. Emily, as we near the close of the conversation, I want you to speak to us, especially about the campaigns. How are the campaigns unfolding in Mbale? And I know you're a candidate yourself. How is the campaigns unfolding? And do you think for yourself you are going to make it to victory in this election season?
Thank you, Philip, and I would like to appreciate all members for their participation. It has been so mind-opening. This side of Mbale, we are moving on well with campaigns. They are not all that full-blown since we are told to wait for the campaigning calendar, which is starting in November after nomination of the MPs. But we are moving on slowly. And for my case, I'm sure, Philip, let nobody lie to you. Unlike the Mr. or PPF of Isingiro, who are saying he's sure he would win, but he's afraid of the system. You cannot go in politics when you are saying you are going to lose or you are afraid of so and so. You have to continue with the mobilization, and I will leave the rest to God. Let's not continue blaming the system even where we are not doing our part. So yes, the environment is getting hotter, especially as we move towards the nomination of the MPs. The race is heating up, but we are sure we are going to have a peaceful campaign period, as far as my observation.
All right. All right. Thank you, Emily, for that. And we wish you the best of luck. And Arnold here, as we wish you the best, how are you planning to maneuver what all the systems that are trying to sabotage your one campaign, but also the fact that you could be the one to win in that particular position?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for Mr. Mulisa Philip for hosting us today. Now, we as People's Front for Freedom, it is of recent that we had a national campaign launch, and the message that we got is that we are entering into this election as a struggle to redeem our country. It is not a battle between. It is not a battle, or it is not an unusual election, but it is a battle between the oppressors and the oppressed. Therefore, it is not between PFF and elections, but it is between the oppressors and oppressed. Therefore, I want to.
Who is the oppressor and who is the oppressed?
Of course, the oppressors, they are these people that are in government today, and these people that are fronting this system that I was talking about, including the Electoral Commission. You know, it should be independent, but it is clear that today it is not independent. It is the NRM leaning. So those are the oppressors, and the oppressed, we are the ones. So I want to give a message of hope.
Who is we?
Sorry?
Who is we?
We the Ugandans, we usual Ugandans, we People's
The
Front
people
for
in
Freedom,
government are
we the
Ugandans
NUP,
too.
we the NUP, we the People's Front for Freedom, we everyone that knows that he is oppressed in his or her own capacity. So I want to
And who is the Patriotic League of Uganda supporting for presidency in 2026? Or rather,
sorry?
the People's Front for Freedom. Sorry about that.
It is soon that we are going to unveil the candidate we are fronting, but then today we have no candidate. Then more so, I want to encourage Ugandans that we need to carry off our hearts from political parties. It is not the political parties that we need. It is Uganda that we need. Because today, Mr. Philip, today, NUP might be there, tomorrow it is not. Today, NRM might be there, but tomorrow it is not. Tomorrow, People's Front for Freedom might be not there, but today it is on. But Uganda, it is on forever and ever. So Ugandans are now deep into political parties, which is not going to help us. So let us focus on Uganda. Thank you very much. And to the youth, I want to inform us that the future is now ours to shape. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Best where you let us down is telling us you were fighting for the liberation of the country, but you have no one at the top who is going to lead the redemption. I don't know whether we shall have a vacuum at the top, but we wish you all the best. And colleagues, unfortunately, our time is very much fast spent. We've gone about 10 minutes past what we are supposed to be here, having here, but I want to thank you so much for joining us. And Ankunda Best Arnold, MP aspirant, Isingiro North, PFF, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your thoughts, and we wish you the best of luck in that contest you are going into, Mr. Baluku Sam, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your thoughts. And again, we wish you the best as you continue to mobilize for your party. Madam Namalwa Emily from Mbale, we wish you the best and your party in Mbale City as you continue to mobilize, but also making sure you win your election. And thank you so much for joining the conversation and for your thoughts. And Madam President of the Uganda Young Democrats, Helen Sayun Ashaba Zion, thank you so much for your thoughts and thank you for sparing time to join us, but to wish your party the best of luck. I know you have very many candidates spread out across the country. We wish you the best of luck in your campaigns and in whatever you are chasing as the party. And special thanks to you, our viewers. We thank you so much for keeping it Community Voices here on Civic Space TV. Special thanks to the technical team. Special thanks to the Center for Constitutional Governance and all our partners that make sure we are able to have this conversation and make a contribution to the civil democratic growth of our country, Uganda. I thank you so much, and let me say, may you all enjoy the rest of the day and have yourselves a good time.